You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
Today it's the substitute rapper. It is David HEURTEL in for James Mene. And as you know, David joins us regularly here on the show. He'll actually be here tomorrow afternoon as well. Dave, there's a couple of things I want to, first of all, thank you for being here today. We appreciate that. And I wanted to start with this whole third link thing. I know we've talked about this for now a couple of days since the Jean Talon by-election win, but there seems to be some consensus on the fact that I guess François Legault and the entire CAQ government is doing now exactly the wrong thing by going ahead and trying to say, oh, well, we'll look at this again. So give me your take on this.
Well, I'm ever since that declaration from the Premier, I've been reminded of Jean Chrétien, who used to say, if you paint yourself into a corner, walk on the paint. And I think that that's what's happening right now. From our perspective here in Montreal, we find this completely ridiculous and a flip-flop. But right now, what's going on is that we're talking about Quebec City and the Quebec City region. This is basically where the CAQ started. This is the birthplace of the CAQ. The support, everything started with Quebec City and Quebec City MNAs. And I think what the message that came out of Jean Talon and the subsequent caucus meeting is that the caucus, now the ordinary MNAs, who have been hearing it earful after earful since that fateful decision of coming back on the word of the CQ government, word that was given to Quebec City residents in 2018, was given again in 2022 during both general election campaigns. I think that what's going on is that you're seeing a reset. François Legault has made it an art of apologizing and come back on decisions that were interpreted as bad. That's what made his pandemic management so successful, is that sometimes when he would just come out and say, you know what, I was wrong. And I think this is what he's doing. And interestingly enough, with the announcement of the financial or budgetary update from Finance Minister Éric Girard on November 7th, 3 elements have been leaked as being the core, let's just say, topics of this, what is now known as a mini budget. Now we have 2 budgets in our annual cycles. We have the late fall one and we have the one in March. And the 3 elements are, very interestingly enough, housing, homelessness, of all things. Have you ever heard the Premier talk really about homelessness? Never. No. And the third one is climate change. And what I think is going on here is you're going to see Éric Girard talk about programs with climate change to balance out and find this middle ground to be able to do the third leg. But I really think right now is that some MNAs in the Quebec City region and beyond, in the greater Quebec City area, on the South Shore, Lévis and beyond, they've been getting an earful from the radio stations over there in Quebec City. You know, it's a very interesting ecosystem. When the radio stations get on your back, it is a sight to see. And I think what's going on when you got 44% of the vote in Jean Talon with 41% participation saying we're going to go PQ, which was since 2018 the objective of the CAQ and François Legault to basically obliterate. I think what you're going to see on November 7th is the beginning of a reset. And talking about housing, after you've had a housing minister say, well, if you can't afford the rent, invest in real estate. And if homelessness, saying, oh, well, you know, this is just a Montreal problem, and it's up to the mayor to solve it. And talking about climate change for real. So I think all of this, combined with opening the door to a new way of thinking this third link, this is all about François Legault walking on the paint and listening to his caucus and understanding that on the ground right now, they want this government to actually do what they were sent to Quebec City for, which is govern.
I think we all might have thought it's sooner or later Francois Legault would step in it. I think this is that case, as you said, to see yourself that battered in a by-election where you took the time as the premier to go out, support your candidate, knock on doors. I mean, that's a pretty big slap in the face.
But
so I get that.
It's super interesting to me that it's not registering at all the same way here as it is in Quebec City.
Yeah, but we're not in a by-election here, and I wonder if there were a by-election here tomorrow, would that even be an issue?
No, but what
right?
I mean, the reaction about him backtracking, about him like having deja vu, and he's suddenly like, oh, maybe it
Dave,
wasn't such.
I asked you this off the top, David. Is that the bad? Is this the worst approach he could take, or do you actually think this is a good approach?
I think it's a good approach because, for him politically, because again, remember, this is a government that is based on the regions. It's based on Quebec City and based on the regions. And this is a government that polls constantly and is always trying to tweak and adapt its message. And homelessness has always been a problem, but until recently, it was only centered in Montreal. Now you're seeing homeless in Granby. Yeah. You're seeing homeless in Quebec City. And everybody's saying, hold on a second. There's a problem here. And I think what's going on is that in the polling, and you're seeing the work of the cities and towns in the region saying, hold on a second, we need some help here. There's a direct link, pardon the pun here, between him spinning climate change and Eric Girard spinning climate change measures on November 7th in the mini budget, and the fact that the cities and towns across Quebec are saying we need money to help us adapt to climate change. These two different events are not unrelated. So I think François Legault is going after the low-hanging fruit and trying to, I think he's trying to mollify his caucus in Quebec City because I think a lot of people are worried there.
All right, I want to get to this Fed grocery plan. We have the clip. So this is François-Philippe Champagne talking about, take a listen, you understand what we're doing.
Starting soon, Canadians will be able to see rollout of actions such as discount across a basket of food products, price freezes, and price matching campaigns, to name a few.
I'm sorry. I can't get excited about this, Natasha.
Well, listen, they promised that they would have a plan before Thanksgiving. It is the day before the Thanksgiving weekend begins, so I guess we got our plan.
Nice job,
David.
yeah. Are you buying any of this? I mean, what are they calling it? A grocery task force, a grocery code of conduct? Come on.
Sure. Well, in politics, and I have to plead guilty on this when I was in politics, in lieu of action, what you do is you form a committee. and so that's what François-Philippe Champagne has done, because he has absolutely no leverage on the grocery stores. The only way you could get leverage is to file legal action and get a judgment that hurts the grocery store chains. The only way they can be hurt in their pocketbook. Yeah. And so until something like that happens, which is totally unlikely because this is not this government's modus operandi. So I think what we're going to see here is, okay, can you please tell me what I can say in my press conference to look like we're doing something?
There you go.
And that's what they're coming up with.
Okay. David, I promised we would do this. This is our, I guess, first time this will have been heard. Our good friend Patrick Charles, who does a lot of parodies on the show, put something together for the third link. I think you'll like this. So I should tell you, you'll recognize the tune right away. I don't think I have to tell you what it is. Here you go.
You try to have the support of the population.
You just can't trust François Legault. What he'll do next, you never know.
Sorry.
Can't figure out just what he thinks. And if he's building that third link. So come on, François Legault. You're gonna dig it, yes or no? It's always lies, lies, lies. You broke your promise, no surprise.
We'll have to do it more.
You said it's off, but now it's on. Just cause you lost in HEURTEL. Quebec City wants to know. You're gonna dig it, yes or no?
There you go. You got to dig it, yes or no.
It's great. It's great. But at the same time, I get it. It's a total flip-flop. It's a total 180. Well, I'll just remind you and remind our listeners that Jean Chrétien got first elected on the promise of repealing the GST.
Aha.
Ah, and there you go.